I don't really feel like wearing makeup, so I'm just gonna wear my blue light glasses and we can pretend like I don't have 20/20 vision. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Kathleen, and today I'm going to be answering some drilling college questions, everything you want to know. These are general questions, but they're also specific to my university. So I go to the university at Buffalo. I am a junior. However, I do have friends that go to private schools and other public schools, so I can try to give some insight into those experiences as well. But I just kind of wanted to create a video with like everything that you really need to know, everything that you want to know about college in general and about University at Buffalo. And if you guys have any other questions, then please comment them down below, and I can be more than happy to share my experiences with you. So the first question is, how do you choose the right school for you? I think the really important thing to consider is if you want to go to a small school, a medium-sized school, or a large school. The class size that comes with that does play a role in that, and a lot of people study better in smaller classrooms, bigger classrooms. UB is a really big school. Majority of the beginner classes you'll take freshman to sophomore year are going to be huge lectures with like 400 people until you go into your junior and senior year where you kind of specialize a little bit more, I guess, and you take more specific courses. Those might be a little bit smaller, but I think other factors are just to really look into like student experiences. I think going on YouTube and watching videos is just like super helpful because you want to get that like one-on-one experience and seeing how other people enjoy their time on campus. I know for me, I chose UB because it was my last choice. I actually wanted to commute and like stay close to home. And I liked UB because it was the best financially for me, but it was also very diverse, which is something that's very important to me. I'm from like the New York City area, and being around people who are exposed to culture was just very important to me. So that's kind of why I ended up here at UB, but I think those are really important things when it comes to deciding what school is right for you. The next question is college like what you see in the movies? No. I think especially at a public school, no. If you go to a private school, I would say there's a lot more funding to like big exciting things, so maybe and like more Greek life, like frat row. We don't have frat row, like all that kind of stuff. I mean, yes, it's more like a movie than high school, but I wouldn't say it's anything like what you see in the movies. The next question is, how different is it college to high school? It depends. I think that you have a lot more freedom in college because you don't have to be in class for like 8 hours a day. You have like breaks in between. You get to kind of like have more control on what your schedule looks like, which is very, very nice. But I think like the overall like encounters that you get with people and the drama, it still exists. I guess in high school you just it's harder to stay away from like all of that kind of stuff, but in college it's a little bit easier to like kind of separate and isolate yourself because the school is so big and like everyone's really focusing on themselves, and I like that about college. The next question is making friends easy? I am just gonna flat out say no. I think like everyone usually comes into college with like a friend that they know. It's so hard to find the people that don't come to school like knowing anybody, and it really is about your freshman year who you become friends with and like what kind of connections and friendships come out of that. I guess what I want to say is that like unless you put yourself out there and you make the effort to talk to the person next to you and you make the effort to introduce yourself to people, you're not going to make friends because everyone is kind of scared at the beginning. So you want to take that initiative and do those things to help make long-lasting relationships, or even just short-term relationships for in-class studying partners and like friends to do homework with, because that's also super important. The next question is, are students here friendly? Yes, I would say like the overall Buffalo community is very friendly. Like whenever I go anywhere off campus, like they're super nice. Everyone is kind and like they have manners. But you are gonna find nasty people on campus. You know, it's so diverse. You find people from all over the place. There's going to be, like I said, that drama that you find in high school because some people don't really grow up in college. But otherwise, it's kind of 50-50, but it's just so much easier to separate yourself from drama because you're not going to be in the same exact tight high school space, having to see each other all the time. Like it's a lot easier to avoid people if they're walking funny. For the most part, people are really friendly, but like I said, you have to kind of put yourself out there and be willing to run into people who are going to be rude and just kind of move on and find someone else. The next question is, what majors here are popular? I would say nursing is a really big major here just because they have a really good nursing program at UB. Maybe physical therapy, I guess, because they also have a really good program for that. Honestly, I see a lot of every single major. UB has a lot of really great selections, like there's a really good pharmacy school. I don't know, there's just like a lot of engineering majors. Like I would say that's really popular. Engineering, like any sort of like life science, like public health is a big major, biology, things like that. And I'm actually a communications major concentrating in marketing. I used to be in the business school as a business major, so that's also like popular too, I guess. But it really just depends. Like I don't think I've ever been in a group where it's like all just like the same major. Like there's always so much diversity within majors when you're in a group of people. Next question is, where is the best place to live your first year? So at UB, there is 2 or 3 dorms that you can live in. There's one on South Campus, there is 2 on North Campus. I just wanted to quickly mention that on South Campus, there are actually 2 dorm halls that you can live in. There's Clement Hall and there's Goodyear Hall. However, Clement Hall has been closed and been used for quarantine housing since COVID started, and I don't even know if next year is going to be opening up for residents to live in. So that's why I didn't mention it, but typically there are 2 halls on South Campus as well. But I prefer North Campus just because it's closer to the student union, where you're going to have like more club events and like more activity on campus, especially for your first year. The 2 on North Campus are Ellicott and Governors. Governors is a freshman only building. So I lived there my freshman year and I actually really liked it because it is that like freshman community. Everyone that's in that building that you're going to be running into are going to be freshmen too. So you're all going to have the same experiences and it's going to be a little bit easier, I think, to make friends. However, Ellicott does have like halls and stuff that are freshmen specific and like targeted, but there is that mix of upperclassmen. But those who live in Ellicott like it, those who live in Governors like it too. It really just depends, but I always say just live in Governors because why not? So the only time you'll get to live there is your freshman year. You can live in Ellicott any other year that you'd like. So and the next question is, how is the food on campus? You're not gonna have the best food. This is where I'm saying that, like, you know, this is a public institution, so the options are not going to be amazing. Like you get really tired of the food really quickly. I recommend getting into like cooking a little bit, like trying to at least make yourself a meal a day. And it's also super unhealthy food. This is why like freshman 15 exists. Like my friends who go to like private schools have way better selection at foods, but that's because like their schools are more expensive and they have more funds. But I mean, it's not terrible. Like UB does have really good food compared to other schools, other public schools. But you know, it's been a long time that I've been eating that food, so I am kind of tired of it. So I have been cooking a little bit more. This leads me to my next question, which is, what is your favorite place to eat on campus? My favorite place to eat on campus is definitely Moe's, just because I don't have Moe's at home. So when I come to Buffalo, I will eat it here. And I think it's better than Chipotle, but it's like Chipotle. There's bowls, there's burritos, there's like salads, whatever. And you can kind of put whatever toppings you want in it. It's just like the most filling. So when I use that meal swipe to pay for it, I'm gonna get the most food for that swipe. So that's why I like that. But UB actually just opened the One World Cafe, which has an Indian and Greek food spots, and they're opening an Asian spot and then like a burger place next semester. So I'm actually looking forward to that. But I would say Moe's still. The next question is it easy to get around campus? So yeah, UB is a huge school. There is a North Campus and there's a South Campus. I am not familiar with South Campus. Like if every time I walk down there, I get so lost and I always have to plan like an hour before whatever reason I have to be there, because otherwise I won't be able to find out where you're going. Like the GPS does not help you get to where you need to be. So South Campus I can't speak for because I think it's confusing and I have no idea. But I think North Campus, it's pretty simple. Everything is in just one big academic spine and it's all connected. So like chances are like you're just gonna walk pretty much in a straight line and you just like go back and forth reading the signs and like seeing which hall you have to go into. So I really don't think it's that bad. Like you get used to it, and campus seems really big from afar, but once you're on it, it just becomes this little space that you know where everything is. You'll know all the good spots to study, all the like cool places to be, the fun classrooms, the big classrooms. But I think it's pretty easy to navigate. I definitely got used to it within my first semester. The next question is, what is my favorite place to study? To be honest, I've always studied in my room. I mean, I have a room, a single, so I like to be in here because then I can just kind of chill, like not wear shoes if I want to, and like people won't look at me and like whatever. But I would say that I think a lot of people go to Capon to study at the, what is it, Silverman Library, but the library is very noisy. I think Lockwood Library would be a better place to study because it's like a silent study, so it's like super quiet there, much less people go there, and there's like so many more floors and seating areas, I guess, and they're more like secluded and hidden, so you're not gonna run into people to study, so it just depends. But I think a lot of people also like to study in lounges or outside of the hallway here in Griner. I don't know, there's a lot of really great spots to study. I know in Governor's, when I lived there my freshman year, there's this like secret cave, and it's actually really cool, and a lot of people would study down there. I never did, but I would chill down there, and it was a super cool spot. The next question is, how often do you go to parties? So not really often. I mean, of course your freshman year you do go out. I never went out like every weekend, but I probably went out like maybe like twice a month, and that's just like to the frat parties, whatever, the little clubs that they have here that are like 18 up. So I don't really go out a lot, and especially now too, I go out like once a month, but like not really to like that. I'll hang out with my friends more. But that's just not me. But I know people who like party like Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and then repeat the next week. Like I can't do that because it's just like the process of getting ready takes like 2 hours, and then going out, and then the next morning you want to like sleep in because you're exhausted and you went to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like it just like takes too much time. So like I don't do that too often. Instead, on the weekends, I am here. Like today, it's Sunday, and I'm just in my room. Sometimes there's club activities, which like today I'm gonna go to an activity because it's supposed to be nice weather. Hopefully it doesn't rain. So things like that, or I'll just like take myself out to get Starbucks to kind of like leave my room. And we have bikes on campus, so when the weather is really nice, I'll go take a bike and ride it along the path that we have around Ellicott, and it's really nice. The next question is, how do you manage your time? So I think routine is really important. You have to figure out what works out for you. Some people work really well cramming things last minute, like staying up super late at night. Personally, I can't do that. I get overwhelmed and stressed out and anxious, so I prefer to do assignments in advance, and I would rather go to bed at 10 o'clock, get a good night's rest, and then wake up at like 7 a.m. and like study and like do work in the morning, because that's when I work best. So I think by figuring out what works for you, you'll really have a good way of like managing your time. But I would say like in the beginning, when you get your syllabus or syllabi, put them all in a Google Calendar, lay everything out there so you know what to do and what's coming up. You can also do it on Excel and then organize it, like sort and filter it to be in date order for every single one of your classes, so you know all of your assignments in order. The next question is, do you ever get homesick? I never got homesick. I mean, I'm 6 hours away from home, which is pretty far away, but I honestly FaceTime my mom a lot. My freshman year, I FaceTime my mom like, I think like every 2 days. Now I don't FaceTime her as much, like maybe like twice a week, and we'll talk for like a little bit or like whatever. So I don't really get homesick a lot. I think because a lot of people from the city do come to school here, so you kind of vibe together, so you're not like missing too much of that at home. But I always miss the food, because food on campus is not compared to the home cooked meals that you get. But I know some people do get homesick, and if possible, make trips to go home to come visit your family. If not, find the home in here, and just surround yourself with people who can distract you, because it's gonna be tough at first, but once you find like your people, once you find like where you feel like you belong the best on campus, it's gonna get a little bit easier. The next question is, how crazy is sports life on campus? So we are a D1 school, so the games are always super crazy, super busy. I would say more so at the beginning of a year. UB Pride is like super big here. Like everyone loves the colors and like claiming that they're, you know, horns up, you know, UB Bulls, whatever. It's a super lively campus, and everyone is super proud to like go to school here. And I think that really helps make the experience of those games and of those like UB events that much more exciting, because everyone loves it here. That's kind of right. Not everyone loves it here, because everyone's experience is different, but just like the student life is just very exciting on campus. The next question is, how good are professors? So I think it really depends. I say always use Rate My Professor. It is such a good website because it's going to tell you what professors are going to be really good, what professors are going to be really bad. And you're going to run into both regardless of that. But that's where I'm saying that it's really important to like talk to the person next to you, and if they don't reciprocate the energy that you need, you switch your seats somewhere else and talk to that person next to you until you find a friend that you can kind of go through that class with, because doing it by yourself is way worse than doing it with somebody else. And I don't know, just having those bad professors are just a part of the process. And I think as you also like get higher in your years at university, you do make a lot more awesome professors. But it just depends on the departments, to be honest. Like for me in the business department, the professors were like meh, but then in my communications department, my professors are amazing. But I've had like here and there, whatever, so it just depends. But you're gonna run into that anywhere you go, so I wouldn't even make that a factor in like determining what schools, unless the school's maybe like known for being terrible, but I've never heard of that before. The next question is, how easy or hard is it to find internships, and are career services helpful? I think you get as much as you look for. There are a lot of resources on campus for like resume building, internship building, career searching, but people do not reach out to those resources, and they are paid under your tuition fee, so it's like might as well take advantage of those things and like use them. So I would say you get as much as you give. You have to go in there and look for stuff and to find help and get assistance and guidance. And honestly, like when I was in a business major, they do so much more career development with you. It's a part of the curriculum to take classes on resume building and internship building, that they make you search for internships and they make you build your resume, a cover letter, and that's where I really like learned all those skills. And I think that that's something that they should enforce in all majors, because it's going to be important regardless. But I know that especially when you're a sophomore, this is your prime time. Like you want to apply for internships at the beginning of like January of like your sophomore year, and find internships for that summer if possible, if not for the junior year summer, because that's the prime time for all the internships that you want to get that are really going to get you like potentially like job opportunities. It's really about connections too. Like you should really reach out to your professors, because you never know what connections they have, and they might know people who can get you internships, because I know a lot of friends who have gotten internships through professors, which have led to full-time positions post-graduation. So ask questions. That's what's really going to help you. And there is a lot of opportunities out there, and a lot of people do get internships in the city, but it really depends where you want to go, what you're doing, but you have to be willing to look for it. And then my last question is, are you happy here? I would say for the most part, yeah. Like I really am an independent person, so I love being by myself and I love working hard. I don't like the idea of school too much, but I like work, and I think that I really make the most out of the situations that I'm in here, and I really am grateful for, you know, being in university and like being able to get an education. And I think that I really enjoyed the process of like going throughout college, because I've grown so much. You know, like we all make the best out of situations, and if you're not happy at university, then like transfer. If you're not happy in a major, like change it, like do something that makes you feel happy. I think your happiness comes first, and you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and that you're doing things for yourself, and that you're and not just going to be sad every day doing something for your parents. Like there's only so much time in life, and you want to be able to do something that makes you feel happy, but that also sustains you financially. So just make the right choices with that stuff. And like, you know, the only way you learn is really through experiencing things and making mistakes, and there's nothing wrong with changing your major and graduating after regular time. So I'm happy here, and I'm happy with how things have ended up. Yes, I was robbed of a college experience my sophomore year because of COVID, but I think I'm here for a reason, and whatever happened for a reason, and I'm gonna make the most out of what I have left here. So yeah, I hope this kind of helped you guys a little bit with some maybe insight to college, and like any questions you might have or might have been thinking of. And like I said, if you have any more questions, then please comment them down below. But that's the end of this video for today. Please give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and comment down below what video suggestions that you guys would like to see from me, and I will see you all in my next video.